All right. So I know I probably shouldn't be doing this while I'm driving. I just have no time otherwise. So this is going to be about Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm just going to label this Kyle Rittenhouse, not self-defense. And it's going to be, I don't blame everybody for thinking that he can claim self-defense. I don't blame everyone for thinking that he is going to be off scot-free, because obviously he was being attacked and he defended himself. All right. So, I'm not mad about that, but I disagree. And the reason I disagree, the moment that I disagreed was when I found out he was 17. I live in Wisconsin, and I've been studying up on concealed carry and all the different laws surrounding self-defense, and been studying up on shootings to see what exactly is self-defense. Because let me tell you something that a lot of people haven't been talking about right now. And here's a real super easy example. Have you ever watched world soccer? And say somebody's dribbling the soccer ball and a guy comes up and steals the ball from him. And then all of a sudden the guy falls on the ground and acts like his leg's been kicked. Or maybe he was bumped in the side and now he acts like he's seriously injured. Or if you ever watched an NBA basketball game and a guy is trying to get the referee to call foul, so when he goes up to do a layup, somebody bumps him and he just flies on the ground like he's in terrible pain. Or maybe you're the quarterback and you just threw the ball, and there's a tiny little bit of time where the quarterback can still be tackled as he throws the ball. And just to be definitely sure that the ref calls a flag of unnecessary roughness, the quarterback maybe gets tapped by someone's arm, or maybe he gets bumped into and he flails and falls to the ground, maybe even acts like it hurt real bad. I watched the videos and I'm watching this kid run, fall, immediately turn, take aim and fire. You can train to do that. You can train to shoot from your back. And you can also train to act like you're being chased, attacked, and you need to shoot your gun. You can train for that, for sure. And there's always in the back of people's minds that, I've got my gun, I'm going to go carry my gun, and if I shoot my gun, I'll just claim self-defense. We've all heard it before. Everybody who's got a gun, everyone who's ever talked about shootings, they've always the phrase, you can just claim self-defense. Plant a knife maybe. So, and it's just like this stuff happened just right after I got done studying up on self-defense and everything else, and when and where it's legal to carry. Well, first of all, he wasn't allowed to have the gun in public. If he were hunting, if it were deer season, that would be a step closer. But it's not deer hunting season, rifle season right now in Wisconsin. And number two, if he wasn't on video with the gun, so I mean, and everyone says, oh, he's only 17, that's only a class A misdemeanor. All right, yeah, it is. Okay, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but that's a crime. And The entire time that he was in Kenosha, he was committing a crime by having that firearm. Okay, second thing. He's out there in a volatile situation with a firearm he's not supposed to have, committing a crime. And then what he decides to do is go to this riot. And what he was on video saying is that he's, basically, the story that he gave was that he is there for a reason that is all the way far removed from having anything to do with having that firearm and using it. He's there to help. He's there to do medical work. He's there to clean graffiti. He's there to protect property. It's for his own self-defense. Okay, the problem is, if he has that firearm illegally, committing that crime, he can't use self-defense. The tool that he used to defend himself in the end was already illegal, was already a greater force than any other threat out there. He was out there as a threat. He went out there to cause shit. It's a vigilante mindset. It's when a vigilante goes out there and causes some shit and then can claim self-defense and then decides to take the law into his own hands. He just gave 2 people the death sentence just by him being there. And he can claim self-defense. You always can claim self-defense. If there's a violent act, you can always say, oh, it was self-defense. A husband and wife get in an altercation. The husband punches her, knocks her out. And the cops come, they go to arrest him, and then he says, no, it was self-defense. She was going to stab me with a knife or whatever. You can. But the big problem here for Kyle is that it's all on video. He was on video committing the crime the entire time. And even though that he didn't get stopped and nobody checked, it was a crime. And that means that you have wavered your ability to claim self-defense, especially since your means of that self-defense was the most lethal. As far as I'm concerned, everybody in that rioting situation was and should be claiming self-defense against somebody who walked in there as a criminal with intentions to use a gun. He decided to go to a place with a firearm to see if he ended up having to use it. That's what he was doing. At best, he can claim that he was completely ignorant that he wasn't allowed to have a gun. He can act like he never had the firearm in a way that seemed like it was going to be a threat to anybody else. He can say that whatever it was in that plastic bag that was thrown at him, he can say that he feared for his life because of that object in the bag that didn't hit him, by the way. And in both occasions that he fell down. And from what I hear, when he shot the first guy, whether the guy's a criminal or not, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't, and it don't matter if the guy, just got out of prison from 50 years from doing malicious, terrible acts to children or something, or if he was just some guy who had a girlfriend a year younger than him when he was 18, 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. You just committed murder because you walked into a situation illegally possessing a firearm, which is a greater threat than whatever in a plastic bag. They were trying to stop you, and then you killed them, and now you're claiming self-defense. Period. Like there's nothing that's gonna pop up that's gonna say otherwise. I'm sorry. The witnesses have already said that the guy was going for your firearm, not you, your firearm. They wanted you to go away because you were posing a deadly threat. And by the way, you illegally possess that firearm. You know, you've waived your ability to say self-defense. You had a greater and more dangerous threat than anybody out there, even the guy with the pistol. I think it was maybe the second or third person who tried to apprehend Kyle had a pistol. And still, the AR-15 is a more dangerous weapon than the pistol. And he just killed somebody. You know, as soon as you kill somebody, dude, you're going to be considered the dangerous person by everybody. You know, until you're proven to be able to claim self-defense and to be proven that it was self-defense. But like I said, you already waived it because you're in the process of committing a crime. Now we got all these people trying to lift this kid up who's probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Maybe he'll see freedom again in some capacity, but I don't think so. You know, it's really no different than a felon possessing a firearm. If you're not allowed to have a firearm, you're not allowed to have a firearm. Of course, it's worse if you're a felon because, you know, it's going to be a bigger, deeper charge than that, and you can't claim ignorance if you're a felon. If you're a felon, you have a firearm, you should know that you're not allowed to have a firearm. If you're 17 and you have a firearm, you might not know that. But common sense says that you should know that since you can't go into a store and buy it. So it was a crime. He was committing a crime from the moment he took that gun and walked away from his mother or whatever adult was supervising him, and until he, you know, basically fled the scene of a double homicide. You know, put it this way: this wasn't a beautiful portray of self-defense. It's not, because he was committing a crime the entire time he had that firearm. This is a very clumsy vigilante who just killed 2 people and tried to kill a third, maybe a fourth. That's what it is. He's 17. He wasn't supposed to have the gun. He went out to a place that was dangerous, where there was high probability that he could say that he needed to use the gun. He went out there and he used the gun. It's going to be hard to say that it wasn't premeditated. You know, it's... And by the way, if there's any at all hint that he's not going to be put away for a very long time, the nation will erupt. In outrage. Because they all will know that he was committing a crime from beginning to end, and that he then killed 2 people. And I hate to say it too. I hate to say this part of it. If he were a cop, he'd get away with it. Or if his victims were black, he'd get away with it. But that's neither. Kid's going away for a long time. You know, it's... a tiny part of me feels bad for him, but only because he's a human being. Because he must have grown up in an environment where he was groomed and taught that if you have your firearm on you and you shoot somebody, you can claim self-defense. You can say you fear for your life. Look, man, I don't think any of those guys are going to kill him. You weren't going to kill him with a thing in a bag. You weren't going to kill him with a skateboard, because, you know, you don't go out there and you try to kill someone with a skateboard, but you do go out and you try and kill someone with a gun. That's what a gun is designed for. A skateboard, that was his transportation to the place, and that was his little way of just trying to get this guy to, you know, stop shooting people. All right? He's done, man. He's going away. Going away to Sleepy Town for a long time. You know, it's an extreme mindset that somebody created in this young person, and he decided to feed this mindset, this delusion that it's okay to go out with a gun to places of high risk because you can claim self-defense. I'm sorry, man. You didn't account for the fact that you weren't 18 yet. You didn't account for the fact that there's going to be dozens of cameras all over the place seeing you committing the crime of having the firearm. You know, look, man, it don't look good. It don't look good. You know, it's like saying, oh, okay, well, the guy took his car and he got 15 speeding tickets. Well, the speeding tickets were because he was trying to get to the hospital. So he's justified in getting the speeding tickets. But then you look at the fact that the car was stolen, and just as easily you could say that he was trying to outrun the police. He wasn't trying to go to the hospital. You see, Kyle Rittenhouse is trying to claim right now that he was in a stolen vehicle driving to the hospital. No, not going to happen. You know, it just doesn't fucking work that way. You know, you're going to get busted for stealing the car, and then you're going to get busted for speeding. Just like he's going to get busted for having a firearm he's not supposed to have, and then he's going to get busted for murdering two people with said firearm. It's just, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. You get what I'm saying here? You know, if that were true, then anybody could just steal a gun and and then they'll shoot somebody and claim self-defense. You know, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay, down the road for me, there's a gun store that got robbed. Okay, someone grabs that gun, goes out of the house, and then goes out of the store. Then the owner of the store grabs the gun that he just stole, and then the burglar shoots the owner of the house, and then he claims self-defense. Does that sound right? Does that sound like that's going to happen? Fuck no. That's the same thing that Kyle did. It's the same thing. You got a gun you shouldn't have. You were a threat to people. They try to stop you, and then you shoot them. It doesn't fucking work that way, and people need to understand that it ain't gonna happen. That's not reality. And God, and like I said, if they loosen their grip on this kid getting what he deserves, there's gonna be an outrage. Man.